Hello everybody and welcome back. My name is Kari and today I am doing a family-inspired book video. So I graduate this weekend, tomorrow specifically, and because I'm graduating law school and it's kind of a big deal, or so I've been told, I have many family members coming out to watch me walk across the stage, which I greatly appreciate. In honor of them, since they're all coming from out of state, I decided that I would do a video about books that I have either read because of family, have been recommended to be my family, I will read with family, or any sort of variation of that. Let's get started. So the first one is A Man Called Ova by Frederick Backman. I've talked about this one before. I don't remember which haul it was, but I bought it, and it's sitting somewhere on my massive shelves. This book is about an old curmudgeon of a man, and apparently, according to several of my aunts, it is exactly my paternal grandfather. I'm very excited to read it because of that. He was definitely a curmudgeon, and I loved him to pieces. So it'll be really interesting and fun to read that book and just sort of have these odd memories of my grandfather running through my head while I read about a fictional character. Next I have Red Rising by Pierce Brown. This is a science fiction trilogy, and it was actually recommended / forced down my throat by my friend Katie, who is also coming for graduation. She was in Nicaragua at the time with the Peace Corps and found it on Kindle for cheap and texted me and said, "Kari, you have to read this series." So I did. She got me hooked, and I completely blame her for this. Red Rising is a science fiction series, like I said, that follows a young Red, Darrow, through his ascent through the ranks, and by ascent I mean he gets forced to become a gold. Whole big mess of events going on to do that, but at any rate he goes from being a Red, which is the lowest of the low, to being a gold, and infiltrates their system to take it down. This is a series of 4 books now. Iron Gold just recently came out. It's also a really fun series. There's just so much in it. I didn't like the first one as much because it was very school-oriented, and while I'm usually all down for schools, that one just didn't strike me, but it got much better with time. The next book is Steelheart by Brandon Sanderson. This is a recommendation to me by one of my cousins who really loves to read, who is coming for graduation, and she recommended this to me, I think, almost a year ago now, which is when I bought it. Ooh, no, not quite, because we bought it in July. And I'm really excited to read it. I've heard fantastic things about Brandon Sanderson, and my cousin and I have fairly similar reading tastes as far as YA. I don't really know what this is about. There's something called the Reckoners in this, because it's, you know, the Reckoners trilogy. But again, heard great things about Brandon Sanderson, and we have similar tastes, so I'm very excited to get to this. Next is Outlander by Diana Gabaldon, which is a time travel series set between 1940 and 1740s. I've read the first book, and one of my other cousins, I have a lot of cousins, who, again, coming from graduation, and I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes of the series when I went to Duluth to visit my family a while back, and I really enjoyed it. She loves the Outlander series almost as much as she likes Little Mermaid, I think. So I am really excited to continue, but I'm also really nervous. I've been putting off reading the second one because of how the first one ended. However, I will get to the second one, maybe not this summer because I'm going to be studying for the bar and that might kill me, but I'm planning on getting to it sometime this year, and I actually mean that this time. Then I have Evicted, which is also a book I've read, actually this year. I will link the review to that down below, which is by Matthew Desmond. This one was given to me as a birthday present from one of my aunts, and the premise of it is that eviction causes poverty. As I say in my review, I don't necessarily agree with that premise. I think there needs to be more research done, but he did a really good job at following the families and showing how eviction causes problems. Maybe not on its own causing poverty, but it seriously affected these people, and in ways that I couldn't necessarily have really imagined because I've never been through that situation. So it was a really good, humanizing book. And the last book is not necessarily a family book, but during my 1L year, one of the professors and I started talking about a couple of different books, and he recommended An Instance of the Finger Post to me by Ian Pears. Unfortunately, he then retired after my 1L year, and now lives on the East Coast coddling his grandchildren. I decided that I would talk about the book that he gave me before he left. He said it was one less book he had to pack. I read this book very quickly, within maybe a week or two, even despite me reading it during my 1L year. And it's a really interesting book. There are 4 different perspectives, and they follow the story of a murder, basically. All 4 of them they're not related in the sense of blood, but they know each other, and they all converge on the same event. The problem is, one of them is lying, and you don't know who, and I still don't know who. I'm not good at this kind of stuff. But it was a really enjoyable book because it was just so unique. I've never read anything like that where one of them is lying, and you see such different perspectives. It is also set in the 1600s, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Those are all of the books that I'm going to mention about my family or significant people surrounding law school right now. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, hit that subscribe button down below. As always, I will leave my Goodreads if you want to check out what I read. But until my next video, bye.